So I'm struck after going hiking or walking around Lake Moraine for about an hour to an hour and a half today with just the profundity of traveling on my own and the fact that it's both powerful and empowering to be on my own. I can't say that in all the years I've lived, 52 of them, that I've ever gone on an international trip where I'm solo. And while I'm working later today and into this week, I rented a car. I'm out here for a little longer by happenstance. Thought I was coming with a friend. And one of the gifts has been to just be exploring on my own, because I'm always with someone when I travel like this, whether it's my family or my son. I realize I've always had a different role while I'm traveling. And so it's a different kind of fun. This has been profound in that, again, I feel a little bit vulnerable because I'm a woman traveling by myself. And while I would have told you I feel pretty confident, pretty strong, not afraid of much, thrill seeker in the things I choose to do, I'm still amazed at, while I'm hiking in the stillness of the woods, how vulnerable that feels, and yet also how connected it feels. I found myself thinking about random things, including both of my parents who are deceased, and having internal conversations both with them and about them. And again, just being out in nature has some amazing way of recalibrating a person, or at least it does for me, where it challenges all of the hurry and the scheduling and whatnot, and it lets me confront those things about myself that may or may not be fully baked. And what's interesting is, as I was out further away from where the tourists were, because they were paved trails closer into the lake, I went up where people were, and I found myself mildly irritated. I'm not a good tourist person. I don't love crowds. I wanted to see Moraine Lake from up high, so I did a video there and took some pictures. But then I wanted to see it from the other side, which seemed quite far away. So as I walked that way, there were fewer and fewer people, because again, it was a little challenging, not much, but as I was touring around, you get perspective. And so, well, one end of the lake, I climbed up to a pile of rocks and got the above looking down view, and it made me think about circumstances and conditions in my life where I might feel challenged. And when I'm up above them, I have one perspective, and sometimes that's the one that empowers me the most, to be able to, again, separate myself or rise above them and have some perspective. But at the same time, by going to the other end of the lake, when I looked back at what seemed like fairly large rock pile that I had climbed, it was pretty insignificant. And it made me think, oh my gosh, this is just like life. And I was also, as I was hiking, I was going up inclines and down declines and near the lake and more inland and up where I thought maybe bears might be, because there's bear warnings all over up here. And I wanted to see a bear the last time I was here, but by myself, I didn't want to see the bear. Not surprising. However, as I was coming here, I'm playing 80s music and I'm jamming out in the car, and I'm having a wonderful time just sort of being out in nature and driving along. And then when I walked and I got in the stillness and I got to the other side of the lake, and then I hiked back and people started coming, it was amazing how quickly my impatience returned. So I started dealing with navigating around people or them parking in the parking lot and whatnot. And in a moment like that, it all changes. And I think that has to do with how we view balance. I think it has to do with how we practice the things that keep us having perspective, being able to connect to nature and, again, loved ones who have passed, but also really distancing myself from being immersed in the busyness of life. And now I'm going back to that to lead some meetings. And I'm really, truly very grateful for all of it. No one ingredient would be enough for me. And all it showed me very clearly today was I need more moments of that stillness where I can get more perspective, more clarity, as Gino Wickman would say. So the illusion I'm shattering right now is really, truly, that any one place is the right place for me to be. It's the right place at that moment. And when I get too much of any of it, I've got to seek the other. What illusion are you shattering?